Genetic test kits are unexpectedly showing up in people's mailboxes.
I thought, what on earth?
They look legit, but before you open the box, I verify how to protect yourself from putting your personal information at risk. Plus, they are the calls you cannot seem to stop. But if you're on the do not call list, how do they keep getting through? We verify what the registry really blocks. And it's a new kind of sticker shock. More restaurants are now tacking extra fees onto your final tab. But are they breaking the law? We dig in before you dine out. I'm Josh Sidorowicz. Verify on 10 Tampa Bay is here to help you separate fact from fiction and protect you from scams like this one. It starts with a DNA test delivery you did not order with a promise to unlock your health risks for certain diseases like cancer. But if you're not careful, we verify how it could end with a big bill to your health insurance.
I thought, what on earth?
Inside the UPS Express box delivered to Barbara Stetson in Zephyr Hills was not only the DNA test, but what even looked like a legitimate lab order.
This is all of my personal information.
Already on here.
Already on there.
Luckily, not her Social Security, but they did have her Medicare number. And then
What really got me was like 2 hours after I received this, I got a phone call from him. And that kind of was spooky.
on the other end, she says, was a man ready to walk her through taking the test to mail it back. And that's when Barbara contacted Verify.
I have a doctor who orders those things when it's necessary.
And he hadn't ordered one.
No.
So who sent it? Turns out she's just the latest target in what we can verify is a slick scam using genetic testing to steal your identity. Our sources include AARP, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Department of Justice. The scheme here is simple. Scammers are looking to fraudulently bill the government through your Medicare. In one case, detailed by the DOJ in 2019, a Florida doctor was charged after confessing he approved tests for patients he never treated in exchange for thousands in kickbacks each month. So what can you do to protect yourself? The Department of Health and Human Services says to refuse delivery of any genetic test kit not ordered by your doctor. Be suspicious of anyone offering free testing with Medicare, and always review your explanation of benefits or Medicare summary notice for any services you didn't have or you didn't want. And if you do suspect your Medicare number has been compromised, you can request a new one from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. For Barbara, it's a close call. She's glad she caught on to.
Well, because I see a lot on TV about all the scams that are being had. And I'm a smart lady. I know what, I've been around the bush a time or two. Hopefully this is the worst they'll do and that we caught it in time.
As is often the case these days, Barbara says her medical provider was recently the victim of a cyber attack. She suspects that is how her information ultimately wound up in the hands of these scammers. From unsuspecting deliveries to unwanted calls, a Verify viewer wanted to know why they still get calls from numbers they don't know, even after signing up for the Do Not Call list. But does being on the Do Not Call registry really stop all unsolicited calls? Let's verify. When the Federal Trade Commission rolled out the Do Not Call registry in 2003, it was an opportunity for people to opt out of telemarketing calls by registering their phone number. But a Verify viewer who signed up says they're still getting those unwanted calls and wanted to know how the registry works. So let's verify using these sources. According to the Federal Communications Commission, the Do Not Call registry, it only stops unsolicited or illegal phone calls from telemarketers. But of course, those are not the only types of unsolicited calls. The Federal Trade Commission says there are several types of unsolicited calls the registry does not block, like calls from political groups, charities, or debt collectors. So our team can verify, no, the Do Not Call registry does not stop all unsolicited phone calls. And this is an important point here too. The registry, it does not actually block the calls from reaching your phone. It just tells registered telemarketers not to call certain numbers. That's why the FTC says being on the registry, it won't stop scammers from making illegal calls. Speaking of scam calls, here's Ariane Till with one you do not want to answer.
We've all been there. You get a call, And the person on the other end asks,
"Can you hear me?"
The natural reaction is to respond yes or no. Several Verify readers have asked if this is a trick used by scammers. So let's verify. Our sources are the Military Consumer, a joint initiative by the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Defense, the Federal Communications Commission, and the Better Business Bureau. Robocallers and spam callers have one main goal: to find out if the number they called is active. Their next goal is to sell your number to telemarketers and scammers. Our sources confirmed that a common way robocallers get you to respond is by asking, "Can you hear me?" If you respond to a robocall in any way, whether it's verbally or by pushing a button on your phone, the scammers know they've found an active number. According to the Military Consumer, by responding, you're more likely to be put on an active number list and to receive more robocalls and scams in the future. So, if this happens to you, your best bet is to just hang up. You've also likely heard that scammers can use your recorded voice to make fraudulent purchases, but that's just a rumor. The FCC and the BBB confirmed there are no publicly confirmed reports of consumers losing money to this type of scam. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Watching your money, the cost to eat out is going up as more restaurants are adding fees to your final tab. But some people have claimed that these sorts of fees are illegal. So is it true? Let's verify using these sources, including the Federal Trade Commission, Congress, the White House, Florida statute, and the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. Here in Florida, the FRLA says basically restaurants can charge you whatever fees they want, but they cannot surprise you with them at the end of the meal. They must appear on the menu and on the bill. Same goes for automatic gratuities. But there are some states, like California, that have outright banned fees, even if they are advertised ahead of time. There, any fees have to be baked into the menu prices. Similar laws have been proposed in other states, but have not passed yet. At the federal level, the FTC is working on issuing a new rule which would require all businesses to list all fees up front and clearly state what they're for. A bill has also been proposed in Congress, but so far has not gotten any momentum. Our thanks to all of our Verify viewers who sent us in their questions for this episode. If you see something you want us to look into, you can always email it to verify@10tampabay.com or you can text it to 727-577-8522. Thanks for watching. With your Verify on 10 Tampa Bay, I'm Josh Sidorowicz. I hear from so many of you about all of the false information out there. It can be overwhelming, hard to notice, and put you at risk. We get it. You need someone in your corner to help protect you from misinformation. And that is what Verify is all about. I will put in the work, make the calls, and talk to the experts to help answer your questions, big or small, and separate fact from fiction. It's that easy. So let's get to work. Email me your questions today. Send them to verify@10tampabay.com.